At 6:17 in the morning on the second day of the ceasefire, 8 radar contacts appeared from a launch position in the Zagros Mountains that had remained completely silent for 38 days. 6 seconds later, the USS Abraham Lincoln Spy 6 radar confirmed them. 8 contacts, 2 bearings, 4 from the north, 4 from the east. For 38 days, the carrier strike group had operated under maximum operational readiness. Drone swarms, long-range projectiles, electronic interference, and layered pressure. Everything had been tracked, evaluated, and handled. The ceasefire had been announced 18 hours earlier, and the Abraham Lincoln had never been more vulnerable than it was at that moment. Not because the ship was weaker, because the people were transitioning. When tension runs continuously for weeks, crews operate in a sustained alert state. When the signal finally comes that the immediate pressure has eased, the shift does not happen instantly. It drains slowly. Watch rotations normalize. Maintenance cycles begin. Escorts reposition. Systems transition from emergency posture to controlled readiness. None of it reduces capability individually, but together, they change response timing. Point 2 Escort destroyers had begun repositioning toward the Strait of Hormuz during the night to support maritime security operations required under the ceasefire. Their long-range intercept coverage shifted with them. Close enough to return, not close enough to contribute instantly. At 2 a.m., the carrier began a post-operation inventory cycle. 2 forward launch cells were temporarily locked out while technicians verified counts. Not empty, just unavailable for immediate use. Watch rotations were reduced from full battle staffing to standard steaming watch. Still alert, just not positioned for immediate multi-axis contact. At 4:17 a.m., the silent sector activated. Chief Petty Officer James Nash had been watching bearing 031 for 3 days. Every active position during the conflict had transmitted something: radar pulses, communications, data links, except that one area in the Zagros range. It had remained completely silent. At 4:17, a burst transmission appeared. Seconds later, the 8 contacts launched. The Combat Information Center classified them within seconds. The defensive sequence began. Interceptors were assigned. The first intercept wave launched at 4:18, targeting the northern contacts. 2 intercepts succeeded. 2 remained inbound. Nash noticed something else. The contacts were receiving mid-course updates from a second location on bearing 047, another position that had also been silent for the entire conflict. The system had been designed to reveal nothing until activation. Nash began building a focused electronic countersignal. The second intercept sequence targeted the eastern contacts. 1 intercept succeeded. 3 remained inbound. The eastern geometry exploited the coverage gap created by repositioned escorts. Inventory levels dropped faster than during any previous engagement. That a third intercept wave neutralized the remaining northern contacts. 3 eastern contacts still inbound. The system flagged limited intercept resources. 2 interceptors launched. 1 successful, 1 missed. 2 contacts remained. Point 1 interceptor left. Point 1 assigned. Point 1 unassigned. The final interceptor neutralized 1 contact at close range. 1 inbound contact remained. Close range defensive system activated. Engagement probability limited due to maneuvering and ranged at 4 hours 20 minutes and 14 seconds. The order went out. Prepare for impact. Nash had been building the counter signal for over 3 minutes. The guidance station continued transmitting updates to the remaining inbound contact. Without those updates, the contact would commit to its last calculated trajectory. The carrier had been maneuvering continuously. Small adjustments accumulated into meaningful displacement at 4 hours 20 minutes and 17 seconds. Nash transmitted the counter signal precisely on the guidance frequency. The transmission interrupted the update cycle. The inbound contact committed to outdated coordinates. Trajectory shifted slightly. 4 hours 20 minutes and 21 seconds. The close-range defense system engaged. The burst intersected the contact at short distance. The detonation occurred in the air. Fragmentation caused limited deck damage and several injuries. No structural penetration occurred. All 8 contacts were neutralized or deflected. Nash then transmitted triangulated coordinates for both previously silent positions. Precision response options were authorized minutes later. Long-range strikes were launched toward both sites. Both positions had been active for less than 7 minutes. The first impacts occurred roughly 30 minutes later. The launcher position was neutralized. The guidance facility was also disabled shortly afterward. Later statements described the launch as an isolated action during the ceasefire transition. Diplomatic discussions continued as scheduled. On the Abraham Lincoln, the crew understood something else. The most vulnerable moment was not during peak tension, but during the transition away from it. The silent sector had waited 38 days for that moment. IT nearly worked, IT failed because someone kept watching the silence.